YouTube! As of today, May 6th, 2018, I have been graduated from college for an entire year. What? I remember when I hit my senior year of high school and I was hitting graduation then, I was very freaked out by the prospect of college and figuring out my entire life and all of that kind of adult life things, and now that I am past college and in that adult world, I'm still very nervous about it, but much less freaked out than my 17, 18-year-old self was. So I thought I'd talk about some musings on the past year of being post-graduated from college and life and that kind of thing. If you're new here, hello, my name is Tori Cyclic. I make new videos every Sunday for Cyclic Sunday with other videos throughout the week. If you like what you see, like this video down below and subscribe while you're down there as well. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at tss6295. Alright, let's get into the video. So I've had this YouTube channel since I was 14 years old. I've mentioned that quite a lot of times on my channel, but when I was 14, I was just a stupid, silly freshman in high school and didn't really know a lot about what I wanted in my life. The only thing that I knew was that I wanted to be a performer and have that be a career. As I progressed throughout high school, continuing to make these YouTube videos, as well as working on my craft of theater and understanding more about what I like to do in theater, in musical theater, in dance, and singing and acting and film stuff and all of that kind of thing, it really helped to solidify what I wanted to do. I didn't really talk much about my college application process / journey on my YouTube channel because it was something that I felt was kind of private and like personal. But now that I've been through college, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. When I got to my senior year of high school and I had to start thinking about what I wanted to major in college, I knew immediately that I wanted to do musical theater. That had been my dream for a while since I was a kid, and I was like, I just have to do it. I have to train in it and to become a professional. I was very much of the mindset of wanting to stay on the East Coast. I'm from New Jersey. I wanted to go to school in New York and be in New York and start my journey there. Within the realm of all of these kinds of things, I didn't get into my dream school, and it was a school in New York City, and I was very depressed about that because I was like, well, what did I do wrong? I can't even get into my dream school. How am I gonna have a career in musical theater if I can't do that? I applied to, I think, 11 colleges. The University of Utah, where I ended up going, wasn't really on my radar for much of my college application process. My dance teacher from my high school, Miss Crochet, told me about the University of Utah, told me that she knew the head of the program. She thought it would be a really good fit for me. So I did that, applied to the University of Utah, and like just didn't think about my application at all because I was like, I don't really care about this school, it's far away, I want to be in New York. And then auditions happened, and applications happened, and acceptances and rejections happened, and I ended up having two schools to choose from, the University of Utah and NYU. Now when I got accepted into NYU, I definitely thought it was a prank because I just didn't think I was talented enough to get into NYU. It's NYU, like, it has a stigma behind it, and I had a very serious prospect of thinking about going to NYU, but then I visited and didn't just feel like I fit in there, it just didn't feel right. And also, the money is quite insane at NYU, so that was another big factor of why I ended up not choosing to go there. But when I visited the University of Utah for one day, I felt so at home there, and it made me feel so much better about my prospects for what I wanted for my career. And that the fact that I visited the school that I barely knew about for a day, talked to teachers, talked to students, watched some classes, walked around campus, and immediately felt like I could call that place home for 4 years, that was really important to me. Everybody from my high school thought that I was going to Utah to convert to be a Mormon, and that I was just trying to escape New York, and a lot of other things about why I wasn't staying in New York, and I gave them all of my legitimate reasons because of cost of school, because of the program, because it was exactly what I wanted, and I tried to explain this feeling that I had when I visited the University of Utah, but it was just so hard to put into words at that point. And honestly, I'm really glad that I went to school out of New York because now I feel like I'm more prepared to be here. I got time away to regroup myself, figure out my life of what I want to do in New York, and being here in New York after spending 4 years away in Salt Lake City, I think it was the best decision I could have made. Now let's fast forward to college. I had never lived away from home when I went to the University of Utah. I was very fresh, very scared. I was a very young 18-year-old. I had turned 18 like 2 weeks before I went to school. I didn't know anybody when I got to Utah, and that freaked me out so much. I was just afraid of not feeling like I would fit in with the people in my class, but as I lived in the fine arts house my first year of school and met my classmates, I found myself feeling more relaxed and like I was able to conquer all of these fears that I had going into school. Fast forward again to my junior year of college, and I've rediscovered my love of playwriting, and I've joined a lot of the classes in the acting program at school. I love the musical theater program at the University of Utah, but there was always something I felt was kind of missing from what I wanted to do because I loved playwriting in high school, and I loved having the idea of creating your own kind of theater, and that was something that wasn't readily available throughout the entire theater program, but it was something that I felt like I could talk about a bit more in acting program classes. In particular, I got to take a playwriting class with one of my favorite professors I've ever had in my entire life, Tim Slover, and when I got to take his playwriting class, I just felt like that hole that I had felt for my first 2 years of school was finally getting filled, and it made me really, really happy. Fast forward one more time to my senior year of college. I'm taking all the classes that I want to take. I've done my film classes, I'm doing the Buto class, which became one of my favorite classes because it was so emotionally draining but also very emotionally fulfilling. I was working on my senior show, I decided I was doing a senior recital. There's all these things that were getting me really excited for graduation and the end of my college career, and bringing back all those fears that I had in high school of not fitting in and figuring out my life and not knowing what I was going to do after I graduated. By my graduation date last year, I already knew I had my contract with Peterborough Players for the summer. I already knew I was planning on moving to New York. I knew a lot of things that I had planned for the future, but then I was like, what happens after that? What do I do after my contract's over? What do I do after I get to New York? I spent my summer at Peterborough Players, as you saw in my vlogs I made from there. I loved it. I met some amazing people who I just love so much, and I'm so happy I got to work with them, and then moved to New York. And I was scared, but I knew I was ready to take on the challenge. I think I proved this to myself on my first day of living in New York because I drove from Peterborough around 6 o'clock at night, got to New York at midnight, woke up the next morning at like 6 a.m. and went to an audition and got kept the entire day to do callbacks. Didn't get that job, but that made me feel so much better about myself and so much less scared about the prospects of living in New York as an actor, because I thought to myself, if I can come from working tirelessly at a theater for 3 months straight, building sets, making costumes, doing all this other stuff while doing a bunch of shows, and then come to New York on my first day and go through a couple rounds of callbacks for a show and feel good about my auditions, I can do this. But now thinking back on this over the past year of being graduated from college and not having to write papers again and not having to worry about grades and having all of this freedom to explore all of these other things that I want to do, it's just been awesome. I'm finally getting to do more things with my YouTube channel that I wanted to do with my YouTube channel throughout high school and college, but just didn't really know how to do. There's some people who've been watching my videos since almost the very beginning who are continuing to support me and talk to me about that they've seen me grow and watch my growth on my channel and throughout my other social medias, and that's just a very weird concept to me, but that's a tangent. I'm really proud of myself for a lot of the growth that I've made in the past year since graduation. There's definitely a lot of things I still need to keep working on, like budgeting money better and organizing my schedule better so I don't make myself sick constantly, figuring out things to help have self-care more and not be stressing myself out too much. There's definitely a lot I still need to learn, and there's definitely a lot more to explore about myself, about New York City, about this crazy world of theater that I have put myself through and I'm continuing to put myself through, and this career that I want to have. But in my own like personal growth of myself as a person and as a musical theater performer and as an actor and as a creator, I think I've made like really good strides in what I want to do throughout this past year since graduation. With having a lot more freedom of not worrying about homework and extra things that will get in the way, I feel like that's really helped me to focus in on what I want to create in my life in every sense of it. And to me, that's a really important growth that I've had as a person, because when I was in high school, I was very unsure of myself and how I fit into the picture of my high school, of my friend groups, of my life. And now I feel like that picture's become a lot clearer. There's definitely still a lot of things I need to clarify to make that picture crystal clear, but now it's at like more of a mid-focus than like completely blurry. On May 6, 2018, I've been living in New York since September. I'm doing a show in New York. I'm making a lot of videos. I've made a lot of new friends. I've discovered a lot about myself that I didn't know was there. This is like an old school Tori video where I just like ramble on about myself. I'm definitely wearing the same shirt that I wore in a video I made in high school around when I was doing Brigadoon in high school, and I was talking about like the end of an era. Wow, my wardrobe has not changed much since I was 14 years old. I also was wearing red lipstick in that too. Like, wow, I'm really on brand with myself now, with my past self. I've got tss6295's brand, like, really good. I want to hear from you guys. If you've been a year out of graduating from high school, a year out of graduating from college, a year after something has happened to you, no matter what it is, it doesn't have to be a big event or a small event, anything, a year after something has happened in your life, how have you changed? What's happened to you? What are some things you want to keep working on to be even better next year? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're wanting to keep up with the rest of my journey, see where my career takes me, see where this YouTube channel goes, go subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching. You can watch my latest video over there and subscribe over there as well. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram in the description. Like this video as well, DFTBA, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.